Hi, I'm Joe Mackay from Yip Cider. I'm a co-owner with my two brothers, Sam and Hugh, and we're in Long Reach, New Brunswick.
Hi, I'm Sam Mackay, and I'm one of the co-owners at Yip Cider.
I'm Hugh, one of the co-owners of Yip Cider.
So our story begins in 1964 when our grandfather Yip bought the apple orchard. His nickname was Yip, his name was Hugh Mackay. When he bought the orchard, there was about 50 apple trees. He then just caught the bug of planting apple trees and kept planting trees over the next few decades. Then my dad, Chaz Mackay, took over the apple orchard when Yip passed. Dad carried on the traditions of planting apple trees and selling apples wholesale, and always juicing and making cider to sell at the local farmers market. We then came along, me and my two brothers, Sam and Hugh, and in about 2015 decided we would turn the orchard not only into a U-pick with apples and juice, but we'd lean more into the commercial cider making. So we took what my grandfather Yip and my dad Chaz had always done with making hard cider for family and friends, but we converted it to a commercial operation. We're now down the road at a new cidery where we have a tap room, and we not only do cider here, we also do events and music and have some food. I like that we're a farm first before we were ever into commercial cider making. So that's kind of the favorite thing. That's our favorite thing about making cider here, is being able to showcase different New Brunswick agriculture. Yip Cider is unique in that we have a pretty enriched story of who Yip is and what Yip Cider is. Yip, when he bought the orchard in 1964 and started getting involved with apples, he loved making hard cider every fall for family and friends. So at the end of the fall, he would take the juice that he made and he would make hard cider, and he would put them in these demijohns here. And he had his own label, and it reads Yip's apple cider, alcohol content unknown. So it was not commercial at that point, and it was just for friends and family and something to be enjoyed around Christmas time or in the fall and winter. So we refined that, obviously, but we have reincorporated his old label into our vintage series, where if you look closely, it's very similar to the original label. So it's something we're proud of. We're building on that original story of Yip's hard cider he used to make. People should also know that our original cider, which is our flagship cider and the base to a lot of our ciders, won the best in class for the modern dry category at the Great Lakes International Cider and Perry competition, which is the biggest cider competition in the world. So we're very proud to have won that with our base cider, and it means a lot to us, and people should be proud that New Brunswick's putting cider on the map for the world.
So when we opened this cidery, as you can see, we have a big production facility beside us, and then the front quarter of the building that faces the river with the nice view is our tap room. We are a wholesale cider company, but this has become a big part of our business too. We have the dome for events, and we're trying to branch out into other opportunities within the event space, because we do have a beautiful location. We also do cruise ship bus tours, so other tours as well, private tours for groups of people where they can see our production facility.
The main thing people should know when they buy Yip Cider is that they are supporting New Brunswick agriculture. They're actually buying a drink that not only was just produced in New Brunswick, but it was actually grown here from the dirt.
Our best-selling cider is the first one we made, the original. So that's our dry cider. So the original tall can and the original 4-pack. It's at A&BL agency store and grocery. And I always say that if you can make a good dry cider where you're not hiding behind any flavors or sugars or anything like that, it's similar to making a nice lager. So it's a testament to our ability to make good cider. So without A&BL, we wouldn't exist because they buy the majority of our cider. And then with putting in programs like the cross-selling with other craft tap rooms, it gives us a chance to get exposure in other parts of New Brunswick, where people can go to a craft brewery and they might have our cider on tap, or they might have it in the to-go fridge, and they try it there, and then hopefully buy it at their local AMBL, or keep going back to that craft brewery and supporting them and buying it from their to-go fridge. So. Yeah, I see the craft industry in New Brunswick only growing. It seems that each year people are continuing to support local, which is a great sign for us and other craft members. And as these craft breweries gain in popularity and get the sales here, I see some of them starting to export out of the province. People today, I find, are craving experiences. And craft breweries, tap rooms offer an experience. So you see people traveling around the province going to different tap rooms because they want to see maybe a bit of that culture in that region of the province, and they want to see what they have to offer. And people like to experience culture through food and drink, and the craft alcohol industry does a great job of that with what they produce and the live music that they bring in and other events. So.
My favorite thing about producing craft alcohol in New Brunswick is getting to connect with New Brunswickers and serve them a product that they seem to like, and talking about our story as cider makers. I'm always struck by how much people want to hear about our story and to know about the brand, and it seems to be important to them. They want to know who was Yip, why is it called Yip Cider, and they like hearing about the history of our company. So in the future, looking 3 years ahead or 5, we'll have a new orchard that will be well established. It would be really cool to have some sort of a bluegrass festival here or a bigger concert event outside. That's kind of a long-term goal. It might be a pipe dream, but it could be something that would be fun to do here. Also, with the new orchard across the street, we can incorporate that into our tours. So currently our orchard is down the road, but with an orchard right across the street, we can take people up into the orchard and show them what apple varieties we're growing and why that's interesting and what it means for the taste of their cider. And maybe down the road, we're exploring the opportunity of having some trails, so some multi-use trails that people can use for cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, mountain biking, hiking. So we get involved with small local charities and helping out with community events. And we also have this new product, Dabble, that we just launched, and it's in partnership with Ducks Unlimited. Yip was actually president of Ducks Unlimited for 2 years in the 70s, and they're all about conservation of wetlands. So $1 for every 6 cans goes towards Ducks Unlimited.
Is that your grandfather on your picture?
Yeah, so that's him. So this is based off of this picture, which was taken of Yip after the war. So he served in World War II. Yeah. And I think that was him just after the war, because the pictures of him during the war is pretty skinny. Yeah, so we took that and kind of made him into a cartoon. And that's what's on every can. And then every can, as I was saying earlier, has a picture of him, different scenes. So.
That is so cool.
Yeah.